This video is not intended to accuse anyone. This is my own theory put together with case facts, my own investigative findings, and lots of speculation. In 2016, Richard Allen had to deal with some difficult situations. His daughter got engaged and moved in with her fiancé, and his wife Kathy's brother John passed away due to complications from a motorcycle accident. It is uncertain whether any problems arose in Rick and Kathy's relationship now that they are living together as a couple at this point instead of a trio. He now has a father's financial burden of a wedding and a wife who has checked out emotionally over the loss of her brother John. 3.5 months after his daughter moved out, Rick's brother-in-law, Johnny Boy Walker, passed away. John was Kathy Allen's younger brother, and she had a deep admiration for him. Those who knew him revealed that he spent most of his time taking care of his mother or attending church. With John gone, Kathy's mother will need someone to care for her. My sources tell me Kathy and other family members shared this responsibility. This disrupted Richard Allen's routine by pulling him back to Peru, Indiana. Peru, Indiana is not only where Rick and Kathy grew up, it's also the birthplace of the infamous Anthony Shots profile. The creator of the account is a convicted child predator named Keegan Kline. Keegan Kline's arrest affidavit states that the profile was created on July 14, 2016. Keegan was living with his father right up the street from Kathy Allen's childhood home when he began communicating with underage girls with the catfish profile. My local sources tell me Keegan Kline's mother, who just like Richard Allen is from Mexico, Indiana, and was friends with Kathy Allen. I was told Keegan Kline's father, Tony, hung out with Kathy Allen when they were in their 20s. Another source told me they believe it would be impossible for Richard Allen not to know Tony Kline. I was told they hung out on 2nd Street in Peru, Indiana, not far from Kathy's childhood home. According to Kathy Allen's December Facebook post, she seemed to be falling into a depression over the loss of her brother John. With 2016 coming to a close and the murder of Abby and Libby not far off into the future, Richard Allen, for the first time in a long time, has the freedom to make some bad decisions. Kathy posted to Facebook that somebody hacked into her brother's Facebook account after he passed away, calling this person a monster. Local sources tell me that after Johnny passed away, somebody hacked into his account and was contacting women and underage girls. With his daughter out of the house and his wife occupied with helping her mother, this gives room for Rick to rekindle old friendships. I was provided a copy of John Walker's certificate of death. From this, we learned the location where Richard and Kathy Allen would be staying on and off while caring for Kathy's mother in Peru. If you draw a circle or perimeter around where Richard Allen was staying in Peru and another circle around where Keegan Kline was living, the circles overlap exactly where the Wabash River search took place. The circles represent the anchor points of each household or likely range of daily movement. Johnny Boy crossed the very bridge they searched under on his way home from work the night he crashed his motorcycle. You would also cross that same bridge leaving the Kline home and going to the house where Rick and Kathy were taking care of Kathy's mom. So, were they searching a river near the Kline home or searching a river near the Allen home? Or both? With Richard Allen and Keegan Kline now existing in the same hemisphere, it is possible they linked up or Richard Allen got close enough to access the Anthony Shots profile. Delphi investigators questioned Keegan Kline about the Anthony Shots account in 2019 when he was finally arrested. Keegan Kline told stories of heavy drug use and passing out on the couch, leaving his devices for others to access. Investigators told Kline that someone was trying to meet up with Libby through the account. During that interview, investigators told Keegan that 2 separate devices logged into the Anthony Shots profile at 8 a.m. the morning the girls were killed. The location data tells us that the Anthony Shots profile was logging in and out of 2 devices at the Canal Street address where Keegan and his father lived. If the killer or killers were traveling from Peru, it would explain the talk about the Marathon gas station. When you travel, you need gas, and Richard Allen would have most likely offered up as a suggestion the gas station he sees the most, which would be the Marathon gas station just around the corner from his home. This would also explain why Richard Allen was captured on camera traveling west on 300. If he was coming from Peru and avoiding the main streets, this is the direction he would be coming from. I believe Richard Allen and his accomplices returned to Peru after committing the double homicide of Abby Ann Libby. Kagan spoke with Barbara McDonald and told her his father was raided by police over the Delphi case while he was in jail. Local sources tell us Keegan's grandfather was also served a search warrant. During the search, they apparently dug up his fire pit. Keegan Kline used his grandfather as his alibi, claiming him and his father were there all day. I believe Richard Allen planned to use a similar alibi, but had to throw that out the window after he was spotted without his face covering by Betsy Blair when he was on the bridge. Nervous Rick needed a cigarette. Richard Allen was most likely with all the people responsible for the murders of Abby and Libby while at Keegan's grandfather's home. This is where I believe they burned most of the evidence. On his way home, Richard Allen would have to cross the very bridge they searched under to get back to his wife and mother-in-law. I believe Richard Allen tossed a phone and a blade into the Wabash River on his way home from Grandpa Kline's. We know the day the river search started, they took Keegan Kline into ISP custody. Investigators took Keegan to Grissom Air Force Base to discuss the Delphi murders. Everything between Keegan and the Delphi investigators would be sealed and marked as confidential moving forward. We also know that 4 weeks into the Wabash River search, Tony Leggett is handed info that would uncover a lost tip narrative. 2 weeks later, Richard Allen is being questioned about the murders. After Richard Allen is interviewed, investigators served a search warrant on his home. They recovered devices, knives, and Richard Allen's gun. Neighbors reported that police also dug up his fire pit. 2 weeks after his home is searched, he is arrested and charged with the murders of Abby and Libby. I believe the motorcycle accident that killed Johnny Boy, God rest his soul, was the catalyst for these murders. I believe I have outlined the recipe for this disaster. I hope you enjoyed this video. Justice for Abby and Libby is coming.